Hello everyone. Today we are going to have our third book club meeting. Um, during this week, we read the book from 222 to 288. So then let's talk about the reading check ideas. So first, how does the protagonist, main character, change over the course of sign reading? So explain your answer using textual evidence and then share your answers with the group. Yeah, you go first, Jesse.
I think that the prince in the book has changed. In the previous reading, the prince was always been a good man, who loves citizens and risks his own life to save his fiancée. But in this part, the prince's attitude toward Buttercup has changed. From page 232, it said that and before her lovely eyes, Humperdinck changed from a man to fear and action to one of present wisdom. And on the page 280, it says that Humperdinck screamed toward Buttercup, then ripping at her autumn hair, yanking her from her feet. And yes, on so the prince's true nature is rebel.
Um, I think a Buttercup changes. First, she wanna married to the prince to save Wesley, but from 241, she found that she did not want marry prince, and she actually want to stay with Wesley. Uh, she changes her mind. That's it.
Oh yes, so what I want to say is also Buttercup because before when she went into the castle with Prince Humperdinck, she is very sure that she is going to marry Prince Humperdinck. But later on, she decided to she decided not to love Prince Humperdinck, but instead she always thinks about Wesley, and even in her dream, she's thinking about Wesley, and so she changed over the course of the plot because she's love changed from Prince Humperdinck to Wesley. Yes.
Okay, so I want to talk about two characters. The first one is Prince Humperdinck, and the second one is Inigo. So at first, the Prince Humperdinck, he behaves very politely and gracefully to Buttercup. He agrees every opinion of Buttercup. Besides, he agrees every request of Buttercup, no matter how ridiculous they are. So, however, let's take a look at page 283. So let's take a look at the text. So Humperdinck screamed toward her then, ripping at her autumn hair, yanking her from her feet and down the long curving corridor to her room. So according to the text, he finally removes his camouflage and shows his real purpose. So then let's talk about Inigo. And please turn to page 222. So, at the very beginning, Inigo wakes up. He's still on the cliff. However, he's discouraged. After then, he becomes a completely drunk guy and drinks brandy from day to night. Then, when Physic finds him, Physic tries a lot of ways to make him clear. Finally, he regains his confidence. So then let's talk about question two.
Bro, I have something to add on what you said before.
Okay, bro.
So for Inigo, yes, she was unconscious when he woke up from the cliff, and he got beaten, and he's very sick. and he is in bad physical state. And later on, Fezzik reached him and he cured him every day. And if you remember, when Inigo wants to eat, Fezzik will feed him. And later on, he regained his confidence and he decided to went to the castle and to revenge for his dad to kill the Count Rugen. And this is what Inigo changed over the course of the plot. And for Prince Humperdinck, he also changed because before, when he believed Buttercup will marry him, and he behaved very gently towards Buttercup to gain her love and to stable their relationship. But later on, when Humperdinck realized that Buttercup loves Wesley only, and she is not marrying Prince Humperdinck, he's behaving very violently. And as Leo mentioned before, she just dragged her over the corridor, and yes, he's behaving very rude and impolite to Prince Buttercup. That's what I want to say.
Thanks. So let's take a look at question 2. Quickly list the top 3 events or the top 3 main points from the assigned reading. Share them with the group to assess their accuracy.
The first important thing I think is that Fezzik found Vizzini was dead, and Vizzini's death brought a great shock to Vizzini and also Inigo, which also reflect that they were very panicked without Vizzini. But this also trained Inigo's leadership ability, and he also he changed a lot from the decadence. He just learned the news of the process of leading Fezzik to save Wesley. And I think the second important thing is that the Count scream when the Wesley received harming, and which highlights the ruthlessness of the prince, and Count from the side and also help Vizzini to determine the Wesley's position in the following chapters. And the third important thing I think is the Buttercup promising the prize to write a letter to prove Wesley's to her, and shows that Buttercup was very simplicity, and her love for the Wesley is very deep.
First event is about Wesley was shot away by Prince and the Count, and and Inigo and Fezzik, they get together to revenge. The last is about Buttercup. She, after her nightmares, she found that she actually did not want marry to the prince. So the prince asked her to send 3 letters to prove that Wesley will come back, and to prove that Wesley loved her too. That's the 3 events.
Okay, now let me introduce the 3 plots I would like to share. So first of all is the machine that the Count Rugen used to torture Wesley. The plot I would like to say is the big scream from both the wild dog and Wesley, because they tested on the wild dog first, and the dog screamed a lot, and even the whole castle can hear it. It shows the violency of the Count, and to show that Wesley's destiny is very poor and he's gonna be tortured. And the second plot is Fezzik taking care of Inigo all the time, because they're a team. And in the plot, Vizzini, which is also known as their boss or the team leader, he died. So there is only Fezzik and Inigo, and Fezzik himself isn't that smart, but and now he also has to take care for Inigo, and that's actually quite a lot and very difficult for him to do so. So how he is taking care of Inigo and how they planned everything is actually astonishing, and that's what I remembered a lot. And the third plot I would like to say mm, is Prince Buttercup's nightmare. Yes, her nightmares all said about their future child, and it's gonna be very cruel. And I believe we're gonna discuss about this later on.
Mm.
Yes.
So I want to share about my opinions with you guys. So firstly, Wesley is captured and locked in Prince Humperdinck's zoo. And secondly, Inigo and Fezzik find Wesley and rescue him. And the third event is Inigo regains his confidence. Okay, that's all. So let's talk about the questions that I made. So in page 231, do the prince prefer his father or the power of his father? Find some evidences from the text to prove your opinions.
So from my point of view, he actually want both, and that's quite they're conflicting, because first of all, it's his father, and second of all, if his father died and he can get the authority, and so there are evidences for both, and for his preference to his father's power, we can see from the paragraph, Prince Humperdinck ordered new doctors brought in, because in the previous paragraph you can see Lothario began to weaken terribly, and since his father is beginning to weaken terribly, and he brought in the new doctors to treat his father, so he actually wants his father. And
Mm,
later on, his father died, and yes, Jesse, you can go on.
yeah, sorry. I think that the prince is also very careful to her father. We can observe that when the king falls seriously ill, the Prince Humperdinck takes swift action by bringing many new doctors to try to save his father. But also, once the king passed away, the Prince Humperdinck also to study um, how to run the country, and this also can indicate that uh, he may be very careful for his father, and that's all.
In my opinion, I think the prince really care about his father. Uh, from the from page 231, we could know that he ordered a new doctor to cure his father, but failed. But also, I believe that from the book, we could know that the king could only have one child, is that the Prince Humperdinck. So he would not care about his father's power. Um, it will eventually come to him. So that's my opinion.
Okay, so so from my perspective, from my own perspective, mm, let's turn to page 231. So, as Alex just mentioned, Prince Humperdinck did order some new doctors. However, I think these new doctors are trying to help Prince Humperdinck to kill his father. Why? Because I think with the text says that within 48 hours of their coming on the case, the king was dead. So I think the prince doesn't care about his father's health. The only thing he cares about is the power. So he just wants to inherit the supreme power from his father. So he wishes his father to die quickly, as soon as he as soon as possible. So let's talk about question 2. In page 234 and 280, there are a lot of conversations between the boy and his father. So what's the use of these dialogues, and what are just or they are just some dialogues?
I think these dialogues provide insight into the boy's reactions, um, and also interpretations of the story he's been told, and they offer a glimpse into his emotional response, such as his anticipation of a happy ending. And the boy couldn't accept the fact that his imagine of the good man Wesley was disappeared. So I think that these dialogues also create sense of suspense and anticipation, and that's all.
I agree with Jesse. I think the boy also represent our author's reaction. Yeah, like at page 280. When I read at this page, I really wanna to uh go on, and it just as the boy said, go on. So it can also represent the author's uh
So from my own perspective, I think because the texts all end at a tense moment, and there came the sudden, like as the author uses the word interruption on page 234, and this interruption or the sudden stop gives space for us, the readers, to imagine what will happen next, and it gives space and chance for us to think about what happens next in our on our own, and we can come up with different uh, predictions, and later on we can check whether ourselves get the answer right. And it also demonstrates that the boy loves the book very much, and as we know from the very beginning, he turned from a boy who doesn't love reading into a boy loved listening to the stories because of this book. So it also demonstrate that this is a very great book. Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, I agree with you, Alex. So please turn to page 280. A part of the conversation. My father stopped reading. Go on, I said. So from the dialogue, uh, we can know that the boy really shows some interest in the book and he likes the book. And I think besides, I have something to add. So I think the author wants to tell the readers something that what are going to happen next, during by using these dialogues. For example, the boy in the conversation always asks his father, or who's gonna die, who's gonna live, are he gonna die or not? I think maybe the author wants to use these dialogues to tell the readers some things about what's gonna happen next and to attract this readers' attention, maybe. So question 3. Uh, on page 238, what do the three nightmares of Buttercup mean?
I think that these three nightmares obvious that are 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 all related to Wesley. The first, Buttercup's words from the old woman in the first nightmare can show that Buttercup's self-condemnations for giving Wesley for the sake of love, of life, and Buttercup's also reflect that Buttercup's deep love for the Wesley.
um Buttercup, from the three nightmares, Buttercup find her future life is um really horrific, and she um after she married to the prince, so she was afraid, and she wanna um live with Wesley. So and this also um help the development of the plot.
So what I'm thinking of, because the next night and the third nightmare, they are all talking about the child they're having. I mean, Buttercup and Prince Humperdinck. And on page 238, we can see that your milk is sour. And Buttercup said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and she shifted to the other. And on the page 239, there's no love in your milk. Your milk has killed me. And these all demonstrates that if Buttercup and Prince Humperdinck were to marry each other, and there is never gonna be love, and the child is not gonna have sweet milk to drink, and also foreshadows that Buttercup and Prince Humperdinck is never gonna be together, and they're never gonna marry each other. And as the two ladies said before, Buttercup and Wesley is gonna be together ultimately. That's what I'm thinking about.
I think the three nightmares may shows that Buttercup is really worries and fear, and they also shows that Buttercup is really worried about Wesley, and besides, she's not sure about what's going to happen next because all the three children are come from Prince Humperdinck and her. Yeah. So question 4. What's the personality of the prince, and find the evidence to prove your perspective.
I think that the prince is very arrogant and is easily to get angry, and also he's a double dealer. From the page 278, we can see that and the look of anger on his face immediately changed to the sweetest smile. So it shows that he's a double dealer. And from page 244, um, at first, when he heard the Sicilian, he wants to kill the Buttercup. Yes, he's the man who hired the Sicilian and those three to kill the Buttercup. So it can shows that the prince's purpose from begin to end is to make the war, and his arrogance of waiting to rule over everything. And from page 280, the Buttercup speaks of the Wesley in front of him, and he was directly act against the Buttercup. And it also shows that he's a man who is very easily to get angry.
I think the prince is selfish and merciless, and he just want to start a war. Um, he want to start a war and to kill Buttercup and Gilder to start a war, and he do not care about his people, the ordinary people. Um, and also he is break promiser. He promised Buttercup that he will let Wesley go, and but however he um shut him away.
Yeah, so what I want to emphasize is the cruelty of Prince Humperdinck. Because as the text said, he and Count Rugen they went to the basement of the castle and torture Wesley together, and he enjoyed listening um, to Wesley's scream. So he's very cruel, and he enjoyed the process of torturing Wesley. So he is very cruel from my perspective.
So as Alex just said, he's really cruel. So I want to add that he loves power rather than his father, so why he's cruel. And he only pays attention on his zoo. instead of caring about his people and country, which shows that he's not a wise prince. And he removes his camouflage and behaves rudely to Buttercup, so which can show that he's a insane psycho maybe. Okay, question 5. There are some negative characters in the novel. Try to find their personalities and purpose. So besides briefly talk about how do their motivations contribute to the development of the novel.
I think that Count is one of the villains, and he's a pervert who enjoys watching others suffer, and which is kind of enjoyment for him. And I think that his purpose is to help the prince, but he also wants to get some benefits from the prince. And the presence of the Count promotes the development of the plot. If there's not Count, there's not Wesley's scream, so that Inigo and Fiddick can't quickly find Wesley.
I want to say about Rugen. He is venomous, I think, because he tortured Wesley and shot him away. And also he killed the Inigo's father because Inigo wanted to revenge, so that because of this he decided to save Wesley. So this also motivated the development of the novel.
Yes, so Count Rugen is what they said, and I believe, and I totally agree with them, because Count Rugen tortures Wesley, and also how he helps to develop the plot is because Count Rugen killed Inigo's father, and Inigo's going to revenge for his father someday in the future, and this is the chance. And because there is Count Rugen, he's still alive, and he's found to be the six-fingered nobleman as described in the previous chapters, and he actually contribute the development of the novel that Inigo is going to beat him or slay him in the future. And another negative character I would like to say is actually Prince Humperdinck himself. So Prince Humperdinck, he is not the antagonist or nor the protagonist, and he's just like a barrier in between Wesley and Buttercup's marriage or their relationship. He gets Buttercup away, and Buttercup says he loved she loved him, and later on she loved Wesley, and she is just to show that Wesley and Buttercup's marriage has some difficulties and to overcome, and and yes, Prince Humperdinck is also a negative character in my point of view.
Okay, so let me just briefly talk about the Count Rugen. So he, as we know, he invents the machine and kills Wesley. He's a completely insane psycho who is crazy about science. His purpose is to become a famous man of his invention, and his contribution is to invent the machine and kills Wesley indirectly, and finally he caused the dilemma between the Inigo and Fiddick, because they need a leader who is alive instead of a dead leader. So here are the last questions. What core value does the author wants to tell us?
I think that the core value that author wants to express is the power of love, because Buttercup was willing to marry the one she doesn't love in order to hurt the one she loves, while Wesley can also endure the physical and the psychological pain for love. And in the book, here's a character. Urbino once asked Wesley whether he wants to be killed by Urbino instead of being killed by Prince and the court with humiliation. And Wesley also said that he couldn't die for Buttercup.
I think the core values could also could be kind. From the Prince Rugen and these people doing this very bad things like kidnapping and torture others, or even start war. They do not care about other people's life. I think uh, to tell this kind of stories to young kids is also to let them know that we should not doing these bad things and to be kind to others.
So the core value I would like to talk about is never to give up, because Inigo kept searching for Count Rugen, which is also the man who killed his father, and finally he managed to find him, and they get the chance to challenge Count Rugen and to kill him in revenge for his father. And so this is the core value I think about: never to give up and insist on what you want to do and what you have to do.
Okay, so I come up with two core values. So the first one is true love, and the second one is it's courage, just like you guys just mentioned. So true love. The love between Buttercup and Wesley is not is at the heart of the entire story. Their love is not influenced by external factors such as social status, wealth, or the identity. So their love is not based on attractions or emotions, but it also represents a pure and unconditional love. This love compels them to overcome various obstacles and challenges to be together. And secondly, talk about the courage. So love between Buttercup and Wesley requires courage to sustain it. They have faced a lot. They have seen a lot of difficulties like the Prince Hamilton, the Count Rugen, and even Weasley. So their love stems from their faith in each other and their beliefs in love and freedom. So finally, here's the exit tickets. So thanks for everyone's work. You all did a really good job, and your answers shows your guys' intelligence and unique thinking. So firstly, what do you like most about the book club thus far?
I think I very like the atmosphere of the book club, and also we can shows different points of the of one problem, and it also let me learn many more aspects that I haven't paid action to this book.
How about you guys?
I I think that I like the thinking for this book, because if I read the book of my own, I would not think a lot and do not really care about the like the core value or the main conflict of this book. So I think the questions and the thinking is really important.
So from my own perspective, I like the host very much, because he is very handsome and he prepared very good questions for us to think deeper to the story itself. and to the book. And the book club is very good. Yes, we discuss every time, and everyone can bring up their own answers. And I like our backgrounds very much as well. Oscar.
Okay. So my favorite thing is your guys' answers and the Gapao behind them. He's really handsome. Handsome. Yeah. And
Yeah,
a
he's
famous
very
rapper.
handsome.
Famous rapper. Secondly, how do you think your book club meeting went today, and what would you like, or what would you have done differently?
I think this book club is today's book club is very good, and maybe I think I say more to compare with the last book club.
What about you, Toby?
So yeah, so I think our book club meeting went very smooth and very successful today due to our great, fantastic, fascinating host, Leo. And yes, and what would you have done differently since it's online this time due to my poor body condition? And I like the backgrounds very much, and it's really interesting, and it motivates us to discuss deeper. Yes, I like this very much.
What about you, Teresa? Oh, you have already, my bad. So the Jessie will be the next host, and let's hope she's gonna do a really good job. Of course she will. Okay, thank
Yes.
you guys. Okay, goodbye.